Hey, it's Mike and I'm here in The Sims 4 with a brand new Sims 4 restaurant building video. Now this restaurant is a really awesome steakhouse and a modern industrial sort of building idea here. This build actually was supposed to be kind of like a restaurant that was built inside of an old factory that was renovated a long time ago. And it does look very modern and industrial, and I really like how it turned out in the end. Currently I am building the back patio area where you can see there I actually put in some really tall archways there. Those are actually kind of supposed to mimic the idea of a folding door, where the patio is kind of all opened up and you can get the air flowing into the restaurant, and it kind of gives this really nice open feel to the whole build, and I love how it looks. Obviously it's not very good for security reasons. Someone could just walk right in and steal stuff in the restaurant overnight, but it's The Sims, so that stuff doesn't really happen, at least not yet anyway. We don't have robbers in The Sims 4 yet, so that's not really an issue. Now I'm currently going in the front here and doing all of the walls here as well. I went with a really interesting kind of wall height here. I did the extra tall walls on the first floor, and I did a small wall on the second floor for the upper loft area. Now we're finishing off the second floor here, kind of putting in all the extra walls, and also doing a cantilevered effect here with the half walls and the wall divider from Dine. It's kind of nice. The patio itself though was only 2 squares wide, so I never actually put any tables there. Now we're going inside, trying to figure out a nice floor plan for the first level, putting in a bar as well, trying to find like a nice open floor plan. I never really figure it out though until later on, so I do go back outside and I finish off the roofing first, and then I go back inside in a little while and finish off the floor plan. Putting on a few signs from Dine Out, which kind of add a nice finished off effect to the outside here. Now we're going back inside, putting in a split level, which was kind of hard to do considering the size of the build. Later on I do actually go back and make the build a little bit longer and a little bit wider just to accommodate the split level and the staircases inside of it. And I like how it turned out. This is actually the final floor plan on the inside. You actually have 2 separate dining rooms with a bar in the middle that's split leveled in, which is really nice. And I'm going upstairs now and doing all of the floor plan here, and this is all going to be an open void in the middle. So you basically have this really tall industrial building with a loft, like most buildings do that are industrial. They have like a nice loft inside of them. And yeah, it's really good. It's like an old factory, basically. That's the main idea behind this build. Now I'm placing some more roofing, and also I put a lot of those awnings around the outside as well to give it a nice modern effect. And now I'm trying to figure out the whole roofing system, because in The Sims 4, when you're placing a second floor with a void in the middle, it's really hard to not get the roofing to cut into your build. And I found out on the Sims forums that you need to have a wall that's breaking up the whole interior in order for the roofing not to cut in. So that was kind of a problem, but I ended up making it work later on. You'll see when I do the second floor of the build. Now this is actually the split level bar. I tried a couple different layouts. At first I was going to put the bar on the left side of the build, and then I changed it so that the bar was on the right side of the build, which I think looks a lot better. Placing a few booths here on the left side of the build here, and I'm also moving the bar over to the right side, which is where it stays for the remainder of the build. I love how it curves around. It's kind of like a nice like burger bar sort of area. It's right in the middle of the restaurant, and it really adds to the openness of the restaurant itself. And it makes it look very kind of bar-like. I'm also going to put in some booths and also a table in that same like split level area later on in the build. I'm pretty sure this whole thing is usable. I don't really see why it wouldn't be. I mean, I might have squeezed everything in a little bit too tightly, but I think Sims can still get around it. I will play test it before I upload it to the gallery and see if it works, and if not, I will change a few things and kind of make it work. One way or another, I'll make it work. So putting in these really awesome industrial sort of hanging lights from the ceiling, they look really good. I'm actually going to dim those a little bit when I film the showcase video. I'm going to dim those down so that way the restaurant looks a little more bar-like, because a lot of bars and a lot of steakhouse restaurants aren't very bright inside. They're kind of dim, and a lot of lights in The Sims 4 are pretty bright, so I am going to have to dim that down because I want it to be more like mood lighting and not like harsh lighting on your table. I love those industrial columns. I use those in the entire build. They look so nice and they add a really nice effect to the whole build. I'm putting in some of those new nectar racks from the new Dine Out pack and also some neon lighting. Adding in that wall divider from Dine Out once again for the kind of like the accent wall in the middle of the restaurant, just to give it a little more of an open feel. I love those new box lights from Dine Out as well. They look so nice. They're very restaurant-like and they definitely add some sort of modern feel to the whole build. Placing some tables over here as well, kind of a nice place to sit down inside the restaurant, but it also gives you a really nice view of the outside, and I'm sure you would also get some nice breezes from the outside air coming in from those big doorways on the outside of the build, which is very nice. Putting in some chairs and also coloring them white just to give it a more neutral feel. I had some trouble with the color scheme of this build just because everything is so like neutral and I wanted to keep everything looking like a steakhouse, and the booths themselves don't really have a lot of colors. If I could have, I would have made them like a light tan, but the light tan color is actually more like an orange, and I didn't think that would fit with this build, so I just kept them black to keep them all neutral looking, and black goes with everything really, so I thought that would be the best choice. Adding some curtains. At first I wanted to go with red curtains because it would add a nice pop of color, but in the end I just keep them white or like a light gray just to make it neutral once again. I was afraid of colorizing things too much because they didn't really match with anything else. They just kind of stood out too much, and the pop of color was a little bit too much for me, I think, so I just kind of kept them neutral. Adding some bar stools. There's actually like 4 or 5 different bars in this build, one of which is actually a nectar bar, which you could actually order drinks from, and the rest are basically just food bars, like burger bar. It's kind of like, this restaurant's kind of like a burger bar and a steakhouse at the same time, so I wanted to put like lots of bar areas for your Sims to eat as well as drink, so I like it. It turned out really good. This is kind of like the place where all of your bro friends would go, like on a bro night out. So I like how it turned out that way. It looks kind of masculine and kind of you know, sport-like. Like you would go to this restaurant for like a sports game, to, you know, watch a sports game or go and do something else like that. But you could also go here for a family gathering as well. It's kind of the best of both worlds, I think. You can do whatever you want here. The menu itself is actually pretty varied. There's lots of different options, except for like sushi and all that stuff. But there's burgers and steak and all of the traditional like foods you would find at a steakhouse, and then some. So it's pretty good. Adding in some steakhouse bottles there, like all the barbecue sauce you would have on the tables and all the steak sauce you would have on the tables. Also adding in some plants and trying to decorate this first floor a little bit without going too overboard. Again, trying to make it usable and not too cluttered, because obviously if it's too cluttered, then Sims can't get around and use all the tables and whatnot. So I'm just trying to keep it functional. That's the goal here. Adding those really nice new drum lights from Dine Out and also those hanging lights. They like chandeliers almost. Putting all the neon in over the bar area just to keep it look very realistic, like a realistic bar would have all the neon and stuff, and the signage as well. And we are almost done with the first floor here, and then we're going to go up to the second floor where the loft area is in just a minute. Putting in all of the steel beams, which is really good. The industrial steel beams, they add a lot of industrial feel to the build, I think. And it finishes it off really nicely. Now I'm decorating the interior kind of entranceway here, where I'm putting in a booth and also the host station as well. The booth is mainly just for your Sims that are waiting a half an hour to dine into this restaurant. A lot of times when you go to a busy restaurant in the US, at least, there's a long line to get in and actually sit down and eat. So I'm sure your Sims will appreciate that, so they don't have to stand around and wait for a table. I also put in the wall divider there in the kitchen, so your Sims can actually kind of look in and peer into what the chef is doing. And it's kind of cool. It's like an open kitchen feel, but not really. It's still kind of closed off, but your Sims can just barely peek in and see what's going on with their food. I also put in some random posters there on the wall because there's not really a lot of pictures for a burger restaurant in The Sims 4. They have some stuff for like breakfast restaurants. They have like eggs and bacon and stuff, but not for a burger and steakhouse place. So I had to put some just random posters on the wall, kind of like, I guess, memorabilia for movies and stuff. That kind of stuff. Putting in some more plants here under the staircase, just making it look all beautiful and decorated. There's the wall or the window plants that I put in just to kind of fill up the window on top, because when I put the curtains in, the curtains actually don't fit over the whole window, so I had to put something there to finish it off and make it look more like decorated, you know. Now we're in the kitchen, kind of finishing that off as well, putting in the lights and all of the stuff you need to cook. You actually only need the chef's table for the restaurant to function properly, but I also did put in some counters and a double oven as well. If you do actually need to hire more chefs later on, you can delete some of the counters and also put in another chef's table over on that right side where I'm putting in the counters right now. That would be a good spot for the second chef's table. But for now, I only started off with one chef's table because when you're beginning the gameplay in The Sims 4 Dine Out, you actually have to level up your restaurant before you can hire more chefs and waitresses and waiters and all that stuff. So just keep that in mind for later on. If you want to hire more chefs, you can do that. Just put in the other chef's table. So now I'm upstairs doing the loft. Now, in order for the whole loft thing to work, I actually had to put in some of those like doorways for the room to still be considered a full room, because if you put a fence in where the walls are, the roofing will actually clip into the whole build. So I had to be careful of that when I was building this restaurant. Putting in some more windows on the wall there just to give it a nice open and bright feel. Also adding in lots of tables. This loft area is kind of not really decorated as much as the first floor was. I kept it kind of simple, just putting in some tables and also another nectar bar on the upper level as well. It's kind of like secluded from the first floor. It's kind of like a private area almost, which is kind of nice, I think. Also adding in some more nectar bottles on the wall there and also a cabinet as well, which is really, really nice. And we're almost done with this video, guys. I'm just finishing off the second floor. I also used the brand new signage from Dine Out as a way to make fencing, so that way your Sims don't actually fall off the second floor of this build, because like I said before, fencing does not work on second floors when you're trying to make a void area in the middle. So I had to improvise with my own techniques here and kind of finish that off my own way. There's the bathroom that I put in, a boys' bathroom and a girls' bathroom as well. Very basic. Only one toilet in each one. I was gonna try to put in stalls, like my own homemade stalls with like walls and doors, but that didn't really work out because the space was too small, so I couldn't do that. And we are just about done with the interior here, guys, and then we're gonna go into the exterior and finish all the landscaping. Just placing in a few more paintings and also some rugs on the ground. And one last table in the interior here. And we are just about done. Now we're outside putting all of the exterior wall coverings. I went with like a nice industrial brick, a white brick, and also some red accents, and also some dark gray accents as well. And we're gonna also finish off the outdoor patio later on in the landscaping. But yeah, I think the exterior turned out really nice. I actually put in a lot more outdoor seating in the front of the build, as you'll see later on. I put in lots of seating. Putting in the staircase here in the front of the build, just so your Sims can access it, of course. And now I'm going to be putting in some more outdoor patios. This is actually based off of a real steakhouse that's in my area, my local area that I've been to. They have this they have a fence that looks just like this. And they also have lots of outdoor seating in the front of the restaurant, so I wanted to make that look similar. So I put in lots of umbrella tables and also some landscaping in the front of the build, just to give lots and lots of places for your Sims to eat. This build actually has lots of seating. I don't think your Sims will ever run out of space in their restaurant. I don't think your restaurant will ever be this full either. I think it's going to be pretty empty most of the time, just because there's so much seating to fill up. Now I'm kind of just putting in all of the landscaping and also the terrain paint as well around the outdoor seating area. Also putting in another outdoor seating area right next to it. Just filling it up to the brim with lots and lots of plants. But I think it still looks really good though. It's not too overboard like most of my landscaping usually is. Just putting in some basic plants and that kind of stuff. 3 more outdoor tables there. And now I'm doing all the lighting and stuff, and then we're going to move into trees and plants outside of the outdoor seating area. Just some nice grass and stuff like that. Some flowers and rocks and all that stuff. Just trying to fill time here, guys. I know landscaping isn't the most interesting part of a build, and I'm not very good at actually commentating over it, but I try. I really try. Now we're on the side of the build here, putting in the last flowers over here, just kind of finishing it up a little bit with some rocks and some trees as well. All that fun stuff. As always, this build is available to download on the gallery for free by using the hashtag BuildItFilmItM and also using the link in the description down below. There is no custom content in this build this time around, so don't worry about that. There is no extra download required to get all the required objects in the build. It's all from the game with no custom objects at all, so that's good if you don't want to download that stuff. Putting in some final seating here in the outdoor patio area, and also a stereo for your Sims to listen to music. And that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching, and please enjoy the rest of the video.